right. Thank you, Kathy. Good job.
It's that month.
Lot number 20. Here we go. Antique, circa 1900 shirting print work dress with rickrack trim and belt. Good condition with just some storage discoloration. What can we start this at?
$30.
30 bid 35 bid 35 bid 35. 30's bid now 35. 30 bid 35 bid 35 bid 35. I think they like Kathy better. 35 and now 40 bid 40 bid 40. 35 bid 40 bid 40 bid 40. 35 would you bid 40? Could you get 40? Could you go 40? 35 bid 40 bid 40 bid 40. 35 would you bid 40? Could you go 40? Could you get 40? Really great fabric there. It's got a little pocket too. 40 now 45 bid 45 bid 45. 40's the bid now 45. 40 would you bid 45? Could you give 45? Could you go 45? All in, all done. 40 bid $45. 45 and now 50 bid 50 bid 50. I 45 bid 50 bid 50 bid 50. 45 bid 50 bid 50 bid 50. 45 bid 50 bid 50 bid 50. 45 would you bid 50? Could you give 50? Could you go 50? 45 bid 50 bid 50 bid 50. All in, all done. 45 bid 50 in time. 50 now 60 bid 60 bid 60. 50 bid 60 bid 60 bid 60. 50 bid 60 bid 60 bid 60. 50 bid 60 bid 60 bid 60. 50 would you bid 60? Could you give 60? Could you go 60? 50 bid $60 going once. 50 bid $60 going twice. Last call. And we sold it $50 to a live auctioneer bidder. This is really, really sweet, folks, and I don't know how often you come across pieces like this. Antique 19th century child's silk two-piece dress with lots of rows of self ruffles on the skirt. It's in good condition with just some discoloration. It's just absolutely amazing. There's two pieces there, right? Right, Danny?
Yep.
Fabulous, fabulous piece and in good condition. What can we start it at?
110.
110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 120 now, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, which you bid 130, could you go 130, could you go 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, which you bid 130, could you give 130, could you go 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, which you bid 130. I think it's better than that, folks. 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130, all in, all done. 120 now, 130 going once. 120 now, 130 going twice. Last call. We sold it, $120. That went to the Dana Auctions bidder. Lot number 22, we have 3 vintage white skirts or petticoats. They are all in good condition. There's a lightweight cotton with pleats, has eyelet and machine embroidery. There's a white cotton with double ruffle along the bottom with eyelets and hand embroidery. And double ruffle edge with machine embroidery and eyelets and rickrack on the inner ruffle. All good condition. What can we start it at?
50.
3 for 1 money, folks. 50 now 60. 60 bid 70 bid 70 bid 70. 70 now 80 bid 80 bid 80. 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. 80 would you bid 90? Could you give 90? Could you go 90? 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. I have 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. It's $30 a piece, folks. Cheap, cheap, cheap. 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. 80 would you bid 90? Could you give 90? Could you go 90? 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90. All in, all done. 80 bid $90 going once. 80 bid $90 going twice. Last call in time. 90 now 100. 90 100 100 100. Come on, you gotta be quicker, live auctioneers. 90 100 100 100. 90 100 100 100. 90 100 100 100. 90 would you bid 100? Could you give 100? Could you go 100? 90 100 100 100. All in, all done. 90 now, $100 going once. 100 and 110 and 110 and 110. 100, 110 and 110 and 110. 100, would you bid 110? Could you go 110? Could you go 110? 100, 110 and 110 and 110. 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110, would you bid 120? Could you go 120? Could you go 120? 110 now, 120 going once. 110 now, 120 going twice. Last call. Sold it, $110. That went to the Dana Auctions bidder. Lot number 23, we have 2 girls in Edwardian white cotton dresses. Includes the white dress with machine embroidered bodice and skirt. has a modesty panel pinned to the top, and includes a photo of a young girl wearing the dress, we believe. In good condition with a small tear in the back with the closures, along with a very sheer white cotton girl's dress with tiered skirt. In good condition with a small brown spot at the waist, and one tier needs to be restitched.
60.
60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70 60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70 60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70 60 which bit 70 could you get 70 could you go 70 60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70 60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70 60 which bit 70 could you get 70 70 now 80 bit 80 bit 80 70 bit 80 bit 80 bit 80 80 bit 90 bit 90 bit 90 80 bit 90 bit 90 bit 90 80 which bit 90 could you give 90 could you go 90 80 bit 90 bit 90 bit 90 I have 80 bit 90 bit 90 bit 90 all in all done. 90 now 100 100 100 90 100 100 100 we're including the photo too, folks. 100 110 and 110 and 110 100 110 and 110 and 110 100 would you been 110 could you 110 could you go 110 100 110 and 110 and 110 100 now 110 going once 110 now 120 120 120 110 now 120 120 120 110 now 120 120 120 110 would you been 120 could you 120 could you go 120. Yeah, there's the photo, Danny. Good job. 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, all in, all done. 110 now, 120 going once. 110 now, 120 going twice. Last call. And we sold it for $110 to live auctioneer bidder. Lot 24, we have an antique 19th century indigo cotton dress with white stars. It's in two pieces, good condition. The bodice hem is raw and unfinished, and there's a small hole on the back of the bodice. There's no closure on the skirt waist either. What can we start that at?
130.
130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140. I love the hand embroidery on that trim too, on the collar and on the shoulder, that little shoulder ruffle. 140 now, 150, 150, 150, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, 150, 150, 160, 160, 160, 150, 160, 160, 160, 160, 170, 170, 170, 160, 170, 170 now, 180, 180, 180, 170, 180, 180, 180, 190, 190, 190, 180, 190, 190, 190, 180, which have been 190, could you 190, 190 now, 200 bit, 200 bit, 200, 190's been out 200 now, 2 and a quarter, 200 bit, 2 and a quarter, 2 and a quarter, 2 and a quarter, 2 and a half, 2 and a quarter, but 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, 2 and a quarter, but 2 and a half, 2 and a quarter, but 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, 2 and a quarter, but 2 and a half, 2 and a quarter, would you be 2 and a half? Could you give 2 and a half? Could you go 2 and a half? Think you could, think you should. 2 and a quarter, but 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, all in, all done. 2 and a quarter, but 2 and a half going once. 2 and a quarter, but 2 and a half going twice. Last call. Oh, we sold it $225 to the live auctioneer bidder.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.